It's that time of the year, boys, and we're back with the third episode of the Vanilla Plus Mod series, meaning that we've covered 120 mods in total. That is huge. Don't forget to watch the second and the first episode, as they contain over 80 more Vanilla Plus mods for you to enjoy. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into the video. We begin this episode with the Revamped Piles, a decorative mod that aims to enhance vanilla structures. Not the architecture itself, but the building and supplementary blocks of those structures. When it comes to details, Revamped Piles provide some of the sharpest models for items like the stairs. Not to mention, it includes newly imagined elements like scarecrows and practice dummies. The Revamped Piles are craftable, so on top of what was mentioned, you could also use set blocks to elevate the level of detail within your buildings. Playing with Vanilla Plus mods is fun, but it's even funnier as you share the moment with friends and family. As Cowboy said, Minecraft experience is a shared one. Wise Hosting isn't just another sponsor in my channel, but a pivot tool for you, my friend. As you finish installing your favorite mods from this video, Wise Hosting will make it super easy to install each and every mod you see here with the click of a button. Either you live in Germany, US, or any country really, Wise Hosting will find you and provide you with butter smooth performance. With a price as low as $6, you get a support team that doesn't sleep. Seriously, these guys would assist you anytime. Monday, Sunday, 2 PM, 1 AM, doesn't matter. As mentioned in the title, some of these mods are for 1.21, and so is Wise Hosting. Just shuffle through any version and enjoy a seamless modded experience on the latest releases. I usually avoid advertising, but being a modder myself, I never saw a hosting service that made multiplayer modding as easy as Wise Hosting did. So use code ENDER and get a 25% discount on your first month. With that, you can enjoy the modding renaissance with your friends. In the base game, the enchantments are usually for faint empowerment, not adding any new quirks to the initial tool. Allurement is a fun little mod that will add few new enchantments that can radically change how you use your tools or weapons. A side note for you guys, the curses in this mod are quite brutal, as they can make your items escape or even fly away from you. You've probably heard about Distant Horizons by now, which became a huge success after its collaboration with Iris. In this list, I've decided to introduce a similar, perhaps even more beneficial mod. This is 12 chunks loaded in the base game, and this is the same number of chunks loaded but with Voxy. Like the famous Distant Horizons mod, Voxy adds LODs to the game, which you can upscale along with the number of fake chunks you want to render. From my experience with the mod, I found that there are few to no bugs. Everything looked normal, and I managed to load the chunks quickly. Trust me friend, these fake chunks are so crisp that they will barely be noticeable as you play in survival mode. When it comes to shader compatibility, there are few you could try. The most stable ones are the enhanced default shaders. And shaders like Makeup Ultra Fast requires you to remove the fog, turn on vanilla like water, and disable reflections so that the distant chunks look believable. Furthermore, you could use the Quality of Life shader. Although I noticed some imperfections in the distance, it looks good in general. And finally, shaders such as miniature and DOF shaders work almost seamlessly. This mod is incredibly useful, as it will load chunks as you explore. The number of fake chunks you can loot can go up to 4096 chunks, 4 times more than Distant Horizons. One of the most viable cosmetic mods on the list is amendments. Cauldrons now have multiple functionalities. First, you can mix potions by pouring 2 different barrels together to create an exclusive potion with several effects. If there is a heat source beneath it, a cauldron will start boiling, allowing you to use it as a cooking instrument to prepare stews. Additionally, you can mix dyes, resulting in a decorative delight and a convenient quality of life feature. Lanterns have also been overhauled. Animation-wise, they will appear as if you are holding them with your hand to eliminate area. Function-wise, you can now place them on walls, creating a stunning aesthetic appearance and making the building process in Minecraft much more flexible. Speaking of flexibility, carpets can now be placed on stairs and slabs. This is a perfect way to decorate your house for Christmas or other festive events. Amendments, although new, has significantly improved decoration in Minecraft, not by adding new blocks, but by enhancing the way current blocks and items behave and appear. Most of you guys are probably familiar with a mod called Do a Barrel Roll. It's very smooth and quite gratifying. Rolling down in it deep is an add-on for said mod, and will transmute the satisfying roll effect to when you swim. This mod isn't very vanilla friendly, I highly apologize for that, but I found it to be quite fun and harmless to your overall gameplay, so why not? The best way to use this mod in my opinion is to add some motion blur shaders, give yourself a dolphin grace effect, and just swim aimlessly in the ocean while enjoying this beautiful scenery. Immersive UI is a very unique mod that I came across recently. The focus of the mod was allocated to inventory, not the management side of it, rather the aesthetic side of it. This mod will make it so that items react smoothly to the mouse cursor. As you point your mouse towards an item, it will slightly scale up. There's also an animation relative to the movement of your mouse. If you move your mouse to the side, the item will wiggle to the side, as if it has physics on its own. There is also an exclusive effect for rare items. When dragged around, they will leave a trail of particles, ultimately indicating their importance. I think the best way to use this mod is to pair it with similar inventory mods, as it will further intensify their effects, and if not, it will just make it more satisfying. Forgiven Void will make it so that the Void is actually a loop portal to teleport you right up the sky. Be careful though, since your landing might end up being horrible. Book recipes in Minecraft are as useless as you can get. It would only show you recipes based on your available items, which isn't that useful overall. Better Book Recipe is a vanilla plus mods, making those interfaces quite useful, allowing you to view every single recipe in the game. The mod is also handy when wanting to trim armors, showing you the final outcome and how to make it. Additionally, you could use this mod if you have problems brewing potions. This process used to be very complicated, but not anymore as you have this mod installed. After a while, storage management can become a grinding halt, having to guess the location of every single item. To effectively deal with this dilemma, Chest Tracker would be handy, making it possible to locate each item using a specific hotkey. Chest Tracker is also capable of viewing stored goods without accessing their original container. If you have an enormous warehouse, you should not overlook this mod, as it saves you a lot of mental energy that is better used elsewhere. Oh, an arrow! Oh, another arrow! I wonder where this is leading me. Wow! With this mod you can play around using chalks that come in a multitude of colors. You can use set chalks to mark either a bad territory or a very good territory. As you gain advancements, you can start using new symbols, which makes it possible to mark things more accurately. Maybe it's a lovely place that everyone should explore, or not a very pleasant place that no one should dare to enter. This mod is best used as a fun little tool to lead someone somewhere more easily, and to prank them too. With shaders and an appropriate resource pack, Minecraft can look gorgeous. But some mods like Chimes proves that you can always make the game look prettier. Chimes adds this hanging set of bells that is smoothly animated and reacts to the wind around it. When close enough, you could hear the soothing bell sound produced by the chimes. The chimes come in 5 different variants and are very cheap to make. Having one of these around your town can really push the edge visually and audibly too. To enhance villages, I'd usually go with something like towns and towers, or choices overhauled villages. But for the sake of being accurate to our purpose in this series, I'll go with the Better Villages mod. The reason I had to go with this mod is due to how uniquely it's structured. The mod improves upon the vanilla structures, only making the original version better. Of course, there are some new buildings, but once you zoom out, everything seems natural. The mod currently covers 3 village variants: plains, savannas, and the snowy villages. I would not say that more variants are going to be added soon, since the project hasn't received any update for almost a year now. but since it made it to 1.21, I do believe that it will be of value to many of you guys. When building in Minecraft, the last thing you want to be expending your energy on is figuring out how to put a certain block somewhere. Bridging mod allows you to channel that energy towards creative pursuits, as the mod makes it possible to place blocks forward and downward much more easily. You no longer have to click on the face of the block to place things. Instead, just click on the air in front of it and that will do. You're obviously not going to be allowed to use this mod on public servers, but for a fun little SMP with friends, why not? It would certainly streamline this process. Have you ever wondered what's beneath the lava? Diamonds? Ancient debris? Aliens? Well, you're about to find out, as we will be using a mod simply called Icy Lava. This mod will reduce the opacity of the lava, making the surface beneath it actually visible. This mod will work best for someone who is crazy enough to take a bath in lava, but the reward can sometimes be worthy, as in the caves, lava can have things like diamond and other valuable ores beneath it. On the nether though, I couldn't really find anything worthwhile, so I would recommend only using it in the caves. The mod comes with a built-in resource pack, allowing you to turn the effect on and off at any time. Easy Anvils mod is quite convenient, as it will add new features and repair some issues with the vanilla anvils. Tools and materials used in the anvils will now be stored within them, and will also be creatively displayed on said anvils. Name tags no longer require an anvil, and it makes sense. You wouldn't need a hammer for a piece of paper. And finally, damaged anvils can be repaired using an iron block. Enhanced movement adds few supportive movements designed for specific scenarios. If you press the spacebar twice within 2 seconds, you will jump even higher. You can also climb blocks easily by latching onto one that has no blocks on top of it, making it super easy to travel through forests. You can dash forward by double tapping W in your desired location, giving you an almost instantaneous burst of speed. Among all of the movement enhancing mods, this one is the most suitable for our Vanilla Plus series, as it does not introduce new animations, stamina systems, or complicated keybands. Environmental is a mod by Team Abnormals that will provide new biomes like the Blossom Valleys and the Pine Woods. Something about Team Abnormals is that they almost always keep content to a minimum, all the while boosting quality and value. New effects are spotted within these biomes. One that stood out to me the most is the falling leaves on the Blossom Valleys. You'll also encounter new animals that are exclusively findable through the new biomes. If you are playing on a 1.19.2 ModPack, you should definitely have this mod installed, as it will slightly but noticeably improve the woods in Minecraft. Fancy Block Particles Renewed adds a realistic breaking effect to the game. This effect is the same for every block, but it's simple enough that it was great regardless. With the click of a button, you could freeze the mod's effect, making it possible to observe the small details on the breaking particles. You can then just press the same hotkey again to unfreeze time. The mod goes over light sources, including the torches and the candles, giving them a unique burning animation. All kinds of furnaces have smoke animations now. The smoke is realistic a bit, since it will come out of openings based on the furnace. Finally, the mod adds animations for the weather, making raindrops interact with the surface, creating some sort of a ripple effect. A similar animation is present on the snow biomes too. This mod is quite decent since it's client-sided. In addition, some effects like the burning of the candles are quite subtle and are easily confused with vanilla animations. Installing a Treechop mod can be a tough decision. You want to make lumbering easier, but you also would like some challenge and accuracy. HG's Treechop is a mod that will combine both. Instead of immediately chopping every log and leaf as you cut down the bottom, HG's mod will include this system where you have to keep cutting the log several times until it's very thin that the whole thing collapses. This mod is quite creative in that it makes this part of the game less annoying, rather than making it easy or negligible, which leaves some space for realism and effort. Trading Post is a new workbench with a decent animation resembling an emerald that floats as you approach it. Of course, this workbench isn't just a visually appealing block, but a usable station that will help you see the trades of all of the villagers around you. As the villager count grows, their accessibility becomes harder. The trading posts will make the transactions with villagers a lot easier and quite instantaneous. Immersive Withering applies the compounding effect of time to most of the blocks. Iron doors, for instance, will rust. Icicles will form beneath the blocks as it snows, along with a layer of frost covering the glass. Leaves will be carpeted in the ground as they fall from the trees, and ivy plants will grow on the surface of the logs. You can also interact with these effects. For example, moss can be sheared and used for nutritional and decorational reasons. Immersive Withering also brings changes to overall wall generation, as you will notice new types of blocks that indicates the climate and the nature of these biomes. This mod is quite decent, as it allows you to observe how time changes everything. The world around you will simply grow wilder and more fierce as it ages. I think we all had moments when our inventory was so messed up it started preventing us from having fun. With Inventory Tweaks mod, your broken tools will be immediately replaced. Blocks will be automatically refilled, and inventory management issues will be a thing from the past. Destroying boats and replacing them is a common issue in the vanilla game, since Minecraft's rivers are usually not that perfect. Jumpy boats introduced a unique feature, allowing you to jump with your boat as if you are riding a horse. This jump can be the difference from overcoming an obstacle easily and from displacing and replacing your boat. Less friction is always the best way to enjoy anything in life. This also includes playing Minecraft. Lucky's Wardrobe is one of my favorite mods of all time. It added special outfits for different biomes and occasions too. The clothes here are naturally ineffective against mobs damage, but if you are playing a mod such as Tough as Nails, the outfits can shield you from freezing or overheating based on what you are wearing. This mod also includes some fun things you could wear like a blindfold, a whole barrel, or a lantern strapped to your back. Those aren't necessarily useful, but to add an atmosphere of diversity and fashion, they will be quite handy. Lucky's Wardrobe has been a mod that I always used in my videos to break habituality. Instead of recording yourself wearing the same set of armors that you wore for the past decade, you could freshen up a bit and wear some unique set of clothes. Minecraft Earth was a very creative spin-off game, but what's also notable about it is the amount of new mobs in it. Earth Mobs is a mod that will add all of those mobs. Portrayal of these animals is quite accurate, and these seem to be of high quality, especially if you pair them with freshly modded texture pack. The mobs included here spawn in different biomes, and some even have biomes of their own. While most of the mobs here are mainly for show, a few can have quirks and distinguishing features too. Personality adds 2 new movesets triggered by certain hotkeys. First is Siren. This animation isn't necessary during gameplay, as it doesn't fulfill any purpose. But for a quick screenshot or cinematic, you could use it. Plus, if you are playing with friends, you could really have fun as you all sit around and talk. I usually use the Siren Plus mod for such a need, but I realized that said mod is invisible to other players. Besides, the Siren animation here, although not client-sided, is very natural within Minecraft. Next up we have the crawling animation. This moveset on the other hand has benefits, as it makes it possible to crawl through one-block openings, making trespassing easier than ever. Furthermore, Personality mod also adds a new climbing animation. It's a bit similar to the Not Enough Animations mod, and so it's decent. If you're a fan of Vanilla Plus mods, you will most definitely not want to have big detailed structures in your game. Repurposed Structures is a mod with a genius idea, which is to swap variants of every structure in the game, making them biome dependent. The new Repurposed Structures, in addition to having different designs, also include new traps and different loot chests. This effect is also present in other dimensions too, as I was able to find an ocean monument in the Nether and a stronghold in the end. Repurposed Structures is the single most important mod to add new dungeons and monuments in the most vanilla way possible. Many trees can generate with each other's leaves connected. Separated Leaves mod makes it so that when you cut down a tree, the leaves of said tree will diminish with it, instead of remaining attached to the tree next to it. As in the case for most of the mods in this list, separated leaves will reduce the amount of friction in your game. When wanting to spice up a third-person recording, Fresh Move's resource pack will be good enough. But to move on from good enough to great, adding in Sit and Chill mod is recommended. This mod will feature a list that you can pull up using the M hotkey. The list includes a variety of setting animations. Each one fits a specific scene or event, making it an indispensable asset for cinematics and photographs. Sleep Tight includes few sleeping equipment and mechanics. First to mention is the hammocks, a convenient piece of fabric strapped between two fences or two blocks. The hammock is a decent tool for night owls. With it you can take a siesta and skip through the day and into the night. Night bags, on the other hand, are deployable comforts that you must not forget as you go on a camping trip. What makes these night bags viable is their ability to make you sleep anywhere without having to lose your initial spawn point. Sleep Tight also makes it possible to lay in bed without sleeping. You can just relax on the bed and do other things while you're at it. If you are finally feeling tired, you can press the spacebar and the sleeping process will follow. And don't think you can just escape the nights every time you're in trouble, as the mod sets a cooldown for how often you get to sleep. Sleeping in the nether is known to be a death wish. Not with this mod though, as you can configure beds to only blast a bit and disappear instead of completely demolishing you, or if you like it, you can make them completely harmless. This mod is a refined version of the famous Comforts mod, but it comes down to preference. You can stick with that which satisfies you the most. With a full inventory, it becomes harder and complicated to sort things out or to pick your tools apart. Slot Swap facilitates that in a very subtle way. By placing your tools one on top of the other, you'll be able to shuffle through that column by pressing Alt and scroll into your desired tool. I love this mod because it's very simple and not overpowered. You're still going to be required to act fast as the mod doesn't choose the tools for you. Minecraft mobs already have some sort of collision as you can easily push them around. Solid Mobs mod will elevate this collision immensely, making the mobs very solid. In fact, so solid you can actually do things like parkouring over them or even sitting on their back using the Sitting Plus mod. The collision here is also very accurate and functions according to the mob's shape rather than their hitbox, which would have been a lot less doable. Through my testing, the mod works with mobs from other mods. It's not as accurate as the vanilla mobs, but it's possible, so why not? Stack Refill will supply you with more items as necessary. This feature can help you a lot as you are trying to focus on building something big. You might say that the mod is pointless since you can just press the middle button on the mouse, but I have to disagree. Even clicking the middle button can distract you from the building, so this mod kinda pushes your creative focus a notch further, allowing you to construct great things without disruption. With Damageful, a number will pop out as you hit mobs. This number indicates how much damage you just dealt. I like this mod better than most health indicator mods since it's less disruptive and keeps an air of mystery as you don't know the remaining hearts of your opponent. V-Tweaks rolls out a number of Vanilla Plus features to aid your survival journey, few of which are being able to mine cakes without ruining them. Cutting down trees is also very simple now, allowing you to take down the whole tree by breaking one block. You'll also need to cut down the remaining parts of the fallen tree, making it less hustling, but also not overpowered. The torch will now work as a tool for igniting heat sources. Both the normal and soul torches are viable options for that. Creeper explosions will cease to cause stress anymore, since every destroyed block will rebuild itself instantly. You can also disable this feature if you think it's not suitable for your style of playing. The author of the mod also remodeled the bees, giving them varying shapes. Some of them are going to be too small, while others are going to be closer to the vanilla size. Though keep in mind that the default vanilla size no longer exists. The mod also includes captured mobs that rarely spawn but are very powerful. The strength lays in their full set of armors and potion effects too. V-Tweaks is a convenient all-in-one mod as it combines a good collection of useful and configurable features to fix and enhance some parts of Minecraft. 3D Skin Layer is a cosmetic client-sided mod which gives depth to your skin. When using a shader, you will often spot the 3D details of your skin having shadows, which renders the whole scene a lot more dynamic and sharp. I tried this mod back when I had a garbage computer, and I'm not gonna lie, my FPS dropped drastically. So if your PC is worth anything below $200, this mod may not be the best for you. WoodWorks mod adds a sawmill that makes it possible to cut logs into different designs. The mod didn't necessarily add anything alien to the game. Instead, it only increased the variety of existing blocks, like the beehive, chest, ladders and more. This is one of the mods that only tries to make the game more logical, notching more and notching less. YDM's red pandas adds these new pets that you could find in the jungle. To tame the red pandas, you simply need to feed them berries. Once tamed, red pandas will follow you around. Apart from their cute look, they don't provide much value, but so are real-life cats, yet we keep them. Yang's Bear Witch Hats is one of the author's smaller mods, as it transforms the witch hat in a subtle but noticeable way. The new witch hats, along with featuring a different built-in style, included more loot too. And in comparison to something like Yang's Bear Desert Temples, this mod is a breeze and will improve your vanilla experience without distorting the original structure. Similar to the Wheat Weeks mod, Andromeda is an all-in-one mod, aiming to slowly but thoroughly enhance the vanilla game. First you have the Fletching Table. This table is now useful as it tightens the bowstring to make it more accurate and faster. Furthermore, we have the Incubator, which is a machine that provides perfect conditions for the eggs to hatch, warming them up and emitting ideal humidity. This machine is quite useful as it greatly increases the chances of your eggs hatching. Standing next to the campfire will heal you, and right-click on a cactus with an empty bottle will absorb its liquid. The mod also makes it tough to loot dungeons, as you will have to kill all surrounding mobs before you get to the rewards. Speaking of mobs, the villagers will follow you as you walk around with an emerald block, and you can also freeze mobs with a snowball. Please keep in mind that all of the mentioned features will need to be enabled before they take effect in your world, so make sure you don't miss that out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Also, I'd like to give special thanks to Wise Hosting for sponsoring this video. Like and subscribe to get notified of the next episode as soon as it releases. See ya in the next one, my friend.